Welcome back to part 10 of training muscle lengths, glutes. Everyone keeps asking for the musculature of the back. I promise it's coming. The glute muscles cross the hip, so let's talk real quick about hip movements, just so we're on the same page here. We have flexion, bringing the hip forward, and extension, bringing it backwards. Abduction, bringing the hip out laterally. Adduction, bringing it back towards the midline. And we have internal and external rotation. Internal, you'll end up with your toe facing in towards yourself. External, you'll end up with it facing away, assuming we're doing it with an extended knee. We have three gluteus muscles of interest here. Glute max, which is the big one here, which makes up most of your butt. Glute med, which is just above it as well as underneath. And glute min, which is underneath both of them, but we're gonna focus on the glute max and glute med today. The glute max originates all the way up on the iliac crest and runs the length down to the coccyx. It inserts down into the femur on the gluteal line, which is kind of easy to remember, as well as technically all the way down into the tibia via the IT band, but we're just interested in its function at the hip. Glute max is the primary mover for hip extension, assistant mover for abduction, as well as for external rotation. So then if we are extended, externally rotated, and abducted, it will be in its shortest position, and its longest position will be flexed, internally rotated, and adducted. Although the most important aspect is just whether we're flexed or extended at the hip. Something like a really deep lunge or a high box step up like this is going to put that glute max in a lengthened position. Although we're just talking about muscle lengths here, we're not saying that this is the best possible way to train it. You can imagine how difficult it would be to load this and especially train it near failure. You'll also see people do things like curtsy lunges to put the hip into both flexion and adduction, but people often end up turning their entire hip and making it so there actually isn't adduction. So hard to say if there's really much of a difference here. You'd probably be better off with a regular lunge or split squat and bringing your front foot just across the midline of your body. We'll reach the shortened position of the glutes with a fully extended hip and bonus points for external rotation. Tons of ways to reach this position, top of any kind of a squat or lunge, a glute bridge. They just all vary in strength curve and how you load them. Glute med originates up on the crest as well as the anterior and posterior gluteal lines of the ilium, and inserts into the greater trochanter, which is on the outside or lateral aspect of the femur, basically just hip to the outside of the femur. Main function of glute med is abduction, and it also functions in internal rotation. We'd be in a shortened position for the glute med if we abducted on a four-way hip like this. When this leg comes and swings back through, it'll be adducted, and that glute med will be in a lengthened position. Tons of other ways to get this position, right? We can be lengthened here and shortened down here, although a movement like this would be hard to load and progress over time. Just please don't do this and think that you're going to grow your glute med. This frog pump movement thing is garbage. This band doesn't really do anything. You're just isometrically abducting, and the glute med doesn't really change length. Quick recap. Glute max is going to be lengthened in flexion, shortened in extension. This stuff matters, but not as much. Glute med shortened, lengthened. Check out the rest of the muscle lengths series in the playlist below.